I just jumped in. I just felt like suddenly, you know, when we met Marty, and when I looked at Marty, I thought, you should be in our band. When Marty was gone, and I thought about Ian, and Ian was suggested, it just suddenly seemed like, wow, that's the right thing. You know what I mean? Just like I guess like a Newton sitting under a tree and an apple falls on his head and he goes, that's gravity. So I suddenly went, Ian Hogue. And I rang him up and said, Ian, theoretically, if I asked you to join the band, would you? And he went, yeah. I said, all right, see you later. And that was, to me, it seemed like a done deal. I just had faith that he was the right guy to do it. I don't know why. I just felt like he was going to be the guy to walk in and change our direction for the better. And luck. Some of my intuitive decisions go horribly wrong, and they're terrible. And people are going, what are we doing? What did you get in? I'm going, I don't know. What was I thinking? But with Ian, it was just one of those ones that worked out.
Well, as Steve said, he rang me up out of the blue one day when I was sitting in my car and said exactly that. What if I hypothetically asked you? And I said, yep. And then so for the next, I don't know, month I suppose, until we actually got together to play music, it was a bit hard to fathom. But yeah, as soon as we all played together, it just felt natural to me, and I never wanted to, you know, try and replicate or be in Marty's shoes, because that's impossible. So I just always intended to bring something different just do my own thing, and it seems to be working. Powderfinger stopped about 4 years ago, after 25 years or something, so that was a fairly lengthy spell too, but yeah, so I was unemployed.
Ian, I tell you what, Ian had a feeling to me of a guy who wanted to be back in a band.
Yeah. Definitely.
He really did. Some guys leave bands and you meet them and they're like, I'm so fucking glad I'm not in that band. I'm not in a band anymore. But Ian was like a guy who looked like he just wanted to be playing in a band again. He feels like it's just what he should be doing. It's his vocation to be rocking and rolling.
There was a very funny situation. They did a classic albums video of one of the albums of Powderfinger, and they spent a lot of the time talking about the church in that classic albums, because their bass player is like a massive fan of the band, so there's not really that many degrees of separation when that happens.
Oh, the sky's the limit. I think the sky's the limit for all music. I think for music, if the earth survives for another 1,000,000 years, people will go on creating new music that no one has ever heard before, and that universe is out there for the church. And what we have here, we have a really rare combination. We have Peter Koppes, Peter Koppes at 19 was a genius on a guitar. Now at his age, Timothy Powell's, these two guys, they're absolute masters of their instruments, but they're still energetic and they still want to explore. We have Ian Hogue, who's got loads of enthusiasm, loads of new ideas, and then you've got me. I'm still mad to keep on doing this, and this combination we have is just explosive to keep on producing new music. I mean, we could go on forever. Like theoretically, if they invent a drug and we all live to 100, we could. I would never go in the studio going, boy, we've run out of ideas. Every time we sit down, I just hear Tim mucking around with a drum sample, and I'm going, that's a song right there. And he goes, yeah, I know. We're like, songs are like oozing out of our pores. So that's never our problem.
And
that will never be our problem.
Steve's even gone into falsetto on this new album, so anything's possible.
No, we're not. No, not in America. Weirdly enough, in America, when we play it, people are sort of going, "Oh, yeah." There's the odd couple. There's the odd couple going, "Oh, honey, that's our song," and kissing, and then when it's over, they leave. But most of the audience sort of go, "Oh," a bit like, "Oh," like here's a short commercial from the past under the Milky Way, and then now normal viewing is resumed. And yeah, so it's not, in America, we have outlived this behemoth, and it's just taken it's just part of the set. We just don't have any attitude. We we sort of feel we should play it, and we play it, and but we don't we don't have any philosophy on it, and we do our best version. Most nights I really enjoy it. Most nights I really enjoy it, and I always think, I'm glad if we had to have a song, just like Blue Oyster Cult, if we had to have one song that we're going to be remembered by, thank Christ it's a good one. It's not like Shut Up or Your Face, or some other, You Can Dance If You Want To, some other song. It's a cool song, and it'll be cool, even if I live to 100, it'll be cool to be staying there 100 and go, sometimes in this place. It'll still be like, it's a song that you can be sung under any circumstances.
But the audiences just study the band when we're playing. It's not like they're dancing and carrying on, and they kind of have these expressions of like, wonder sometimes, but they're studying the band. They're not kind of like, you can't really tell from one song to another whether they're enjoying one more than the other, because they're just standing there studying it.
I think the internet saved us before it started saving everybody else. We were kind of, especially in the States, we had a massive underground kind of community here that was holding together with we had a church army, and they'd bond together and they'd get people to shows and stuff like that. And we fell away from the mainstream, so no major label, nothing more. We just kept on going, kept on making these records that were actually really good, but they weren't ending up in everybody's lounge rooms anymore. But we just kept on going. And talking about that thing with Milky Way, it's kind of, we just transcended that. There's no key song, it doesn't matter anymore. That song just fits in with the rest of it's another song, And in fact, we have a better time here than we do in Australia, because in Australia, some of those older tunes are still a bit iconic, and it's a little bit like, put 20 cents in a jukebox and we have to flash back and be a parody of what we were, and then turn around and go into our next, latest space rock thing, and it's odd. But here, this tour's been amazing, because, we've kind of...
They're loving the oldies, they're loving the newies. They just that's how I want it to be. When we do our next album, I hope there's 6 songs on there we just slot into the set, and people, it's like a body of work, and we come out and we just pick things from all over the place to give them. Oh, loads of, like it. It's like, do you remember when you were a kid and suddenly you'd stumble upon a band and then you go, oh my God, they've got all these records and rare singles, and it's going to take, and then you were off on this wild chase through record shops all over the place. I found the single, I've been looking for this for 3 years. That's the church in spades. There's probably no more band on. We've got things that, rarities and acoustic albums and best ofs and a 10-inch single. Millions of solo albums. A 10-inch single that came out that changes hands for like just flexi discs from Spain, and everything you could imagine. If you want to dive into this, there is so much stuff. You can't. It's almost, if someone said to me, "I've got everything you've ever made," I'd say, "No one has everything we've made," because there's always something new out there. I go, I can't believe I've never seen that before. Okay, there's 2 things off in the future on the horizon, mooted, and one is a tribute album where all the hugest luminaries in the music biz will do our songs. Rod Stewart, Eric Clapton, Tina Turner's, they're fighting over it. And then we're going to have a film. We're going to have a film about the church, a sort of a doco. We've got loads of footage. But these things are coming down the pipeline, and a new album, and coming back to America as soon as we can. Yahoo!